Good afternoon, family. It is March 7th, 2022. My name is Jonathan, and if you're new here, a little bit about this channel. I created it as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of achieving a healthy weight. If you do like my videos, make sure that you like the video. Also, click on the subscribe button and the bell icon so you'll get alerted when I go live. If you'd like to participate in on the discussion, you can join me live at 4 p.m. most weekdays, or outside of my live streams, you can follow our Discord. The link for that is down in the description below. Also down in the description, I have a link to a Pinterest board. What that is a place where you can find out a lot of the foods that I'm eating or my family is eating as we figure out this diet. So um, make sure to check that out if you have any questions about what we're eating. Today is day 492 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet to lose over 200 pounds. I have 20 months left to go, and I am looking forward to getting to my goal weight by the end of this year so that I can maintain it throughout 2023. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. If you have any on-scale victories, I'd love to hear those as well. Let me know how you're doing with your diets and all those things. So let's get yeah, it's Monday. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I don't know that we really were super productive this weekend, but it was nice to not have a bunch going on, I guess, throughout the weekend as well. I ended up spending a lot of time yesterday working on a 1,000-piece puzzle with Carrie just in the house during the afternoon. Just kind of something to do. It's been a long time since I've done a puzzle. In our town, there's somebody has like a stand outside their house where they have a bunch of puzzles that you can go and swap puzzles out. So Carrie picked up one of those and we did the 1,000-piece puzzle. Maybe I'll have her throw a picture of that up in the Discord if anybody wants to see the puzzle we did. But yeah, but for the weekend, for the most part, trying to think if we did anything super fun. Let me go back here and see what we had for meals. I think this was Saturday's meal. Let me see if Friday. Yes. So just going to run through kind of what I remember eating over the weekend. I know how difficult that can be sometimes to remember it. But for dinner Friday night, we had our mega veggie chili. This is a staple that we have quite often. And I think that Carrie had a few extra green lentils in there. I think she was looking for a reason to use those green lentils because she had so many of them. I'm pretty sure this is the mega veggie chili. I guess it looks just like our mega veggie chili. Now that I zoomed into it, though, it's missing some of the components that I'm used to seeing. So if it wasn't mega veggie chili, maybe Carrie will correct me. But this is just a beautiful picture of some mashed potatoes. This is the mashed potatoes, and then there's that sour cream that Carrie had made mixed in with it, which is I really enjoyed that. For dinner, let me see if I have Saturday's dinner. So this was similar to a meal that we had in the past. So this is, both of them are sweet potatoes. One of them's a yellow sweet potato, and one of them's like a Japanese sweet potato, maybe. I'm not sure. But there's some roasted chickpeas on there. And then the sauce Carrie made is like a dill flavored sauce. I probably didn't use enough of it on mine, but again, it was a great dinner that evening. Here's a picture of my my cherry juice. If you've been following along, I don't know if I've made a huge deal about this, but I drink cherry juice every day. It's just something that I got into the habit of doing, and so I have at least 8 to 16 ounces of cherry juice every day. I really enjoy it. This actual container, this is a 64-ounce container that Carrie was able to find at Costco. Um, and so Carrie bought this, which is awesome because one of the things I was looking for in cherry juice was to get that Montmorency cherries. If you can see that zoomed in there. And this is the first time that we picked up a cherry juice that's labeled Montmorency. There wasn't a concentrate. We had picked up a concentrate that I tried to make, and it was not good. We ended up throwing the bottle out, I think. I don't think we kept it. But the thing that annoys me about the way everything's set up. So I was drinking a different cherry juice for since I started this, essentially. Carrie would get this cherry juice from Walmart. It said it's 100% juice, cherries or whatever. And even looking at the label, it says cherries, and it also says that it has some apple juice in it. And so didn't really think too much about it. And in the end, it's probably not a huge deal, but I was just decided that I wanted to compare the labels between this and the old cherry juice. And I got looking at it, and this juice actually has a higher calorie count per serving. Serving size is the same number of ounces. And the thing, though, that surprised me is when I looked at the label for the juice that I used to get, or we still have a bottle of it in the cupboard. It says that there's 2 grams of added sugar. And I'm not sure how it works out that there's 2 grams of added sugar because there's no sugar listed on the label. It says cherry juice, and it says something maybe to preserve flavor, and then apple juice. So I don't know if that apple juice is part of that 2% or the 2 grams of added sugar. But it's just annoying because I'm trying really hard to do my best to not have these added sugars. And even with all the checking I've been doing and the pay attention, I still screwed it up for a little bit. And I'm not upset about it because I've lost weight throughout the past year, still, even with drinking it. But it's just annoying that there's somehow 2 grams of added sugar, but there's nothing on the label that said that there was any added sugar. It wasn't, and even like if you look at the ingredients, you wouldn't think that there was any added sugar. But when you look at the nutrition label, then that's where it kind of said that. So it doesn't make sense that it can be like that. And that's kind of what I've talked about in the past of just with these nutrition labels about how much they are really trying to get you to buy their stuff. And it's all it's all numbers. I went into it with the cereal a few months back or a month back, and just that, like, there's no reason that when you're looking at cereal on the shelf that Cinnamon Toast Crunch is listed as having fewer calories per serving than shredded wheat. Like, it just doesn't make sense that that it would say that, because there's no way that having all of that processed stuff that is inside of Cinnamon Toast Crunch is better for you. But if you're only looking at certain parts of the label, that's all you're going to see. And most people are looking at just that big black calorie number that's on the top. They assume that these businesses are doing right by them and making all of these serving sizes equal, but they're not. They're varying the size of the measuring cup that they're using, but probably more importantly than the measuring cup change that happens, it's the weight difference that happens. You can have a big, I guess if you had a cup of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, it's going to weigh not very much in comparison to a cup of shredded wheat. And so they don't even bring weight into the equation. They only talk about the volume that it takes up. But if you actually were to like get that cinnamon toast crunch like wet and like ball it up like a piece of bread, like if you take a piece of bread and you ball it up, it's really small. Um, versus if you had something like that size, like potato of the equal amount of size, it doesn't get any smaller once you start digesting and processing the food. So, anyways, I'm happy that we found a new cherry juice. I believe it's a lot cheaper per ounce as well than what we were paying for the other cherry juice. So that's a major win as well. Let's see if my phone died. My phone disconnected. Let me see if I had any other photos from meals this. Oh, yes, I have last night's dinner. So go ahead and pull that up. So last night's dinner again was something, or not again, but last night's dinner was a new item. I'm not going to be able to give you any of the information on what it was called because I don't remember, but I can pull it up here real quick. So these are like a brown rice noodle, and then there's some spinach in there that you can see. And Carrie made this sauce that it uses a little bit of nutritional yeast. That would be the only thing in that sauce that's kind of on the fence for what I normally eat or what we normally have in our diet. But I think it was like 2 tablespoons throughout the whole dish that she made. So really, it wouldn't have been that much here. I did end up trying to fancy it up a little bit and put some sauteed mushrooms in there. It didn't hurt the flavor, but it didn't necessarily help the flavor. I think maybe if I would have, because I made the mushroom, like I tasted it and I was like, it's good, but I think I want some mushrooms because, uh, mostly because we probably had mushrooms 3 times in the past week or 2 or 3 times in the past week. And I really like it when we've had mushrooms. And so I sauteed some mushrooms and added it to it. It made it, I don't know, it didn't change it a whole lot. It was good either way, whether it was this or with the mushrooms, but it just added some more flavor, some more volume. And then for the weekend, what's not photoed throughout the weekend here for my meals would be every morning having the oatmeal. Saturday is always difficult for me because I actually skip breakfast at home because I have to work for a short shift Saturday mornings. And then I had my oatmeal for lunch on Saturday. Carrie's checking in saying, hey, Carrie, what was the name of this dish that's up on the screen if you get a chance? The uh I don't know what I was just talking based on it. Carrie said hi. She distracted me. So yeah, oatmeal. That's what I was talking about. Lots of Ezekiel bread with peanut butter throughout the weekend. The weekends are so difficult. Because I'm just not, I have a routine for 5 days, Monday through Friday, wake up, have some oatmeal, maybe make some Ezekiel bread, go to work, no problems all day at work. And in fact, it's really weird that like I actually like dry fast at work. It's not intentional, but like from the time I left my house until right now, so I left my house at 8 o'clock this morning. So Carrie said that the name of that dish was called red pepper mac and cheese, which really surprises me because I didn't really notice the red pepper. But yes, uh, red pepper mac and cheese is what that was called. Weekends suck because my routine gets thrown off every day. It's the same pretty much for me as I get up, eat breakfast, drink water, or dry fast throughout the day, just as it is. And it's easy. I don't have any temptations around me. There's no food in the building at all that I can eat. And the water here sucks. So if I only have water if I bring a bottle of water with me. And then uh let's see, what else did so I snacked a little bit on nuts this weekend, but I didn't go overboard. I kind of held myself back a little bit, just because um they're so calorie dense. And I guess I never really paid attention to it before. I listened to, oh my gosh. Let me see if I can figure out who the guy I listened to a video for. So I do a lot of like Googling things and looking at watching YouTube videos and a bunch of stuff. And I did that a lot this weekend. I'm trying to think of who I was watching a speech by, and I don't think I got all the way through the speech. Let me go through here and I can tell you who it is. Um, oh, come on. Like Novak or oh, this is driving me nuts. Anyways, I listened to a speech from a doctor who was actually talking at the McDougall Institute, was where the speech was at, and they kind of talked a lot about how high calorie nuts are. Like if you break all the food, the whole foods into different groups, or just foods in general into different groups, that nuts and seeds have calories per pound right behind uh oils, things like that. So I'm trying to kind of pay attention to the cashews I'm eating a little bit, but at the same time, some people would probably be like, well, that wasn't really a limited amount of cashews that you had, because I'm not actually sitting there and measuring them, kind of grabbing them out and eating them. So, and if talked about this a lot, if I start to notice that my weight's not moving down or I'm not happy with what's going on, then I can easily cut out the nuts and still be satisfied with my diet, because by volume they don't account for a lot of my meals or a lot of my dinners. So that was kind of the food for the weekend. The I don't know. I kind of went food and then routine. So let me figure out where I'm at. I was really worried coming in today that I ate too much food again. And I didn't eat anything that was off diet. I didn't eat anything. Like I said, the nutritional yeast inside that dish is a little bit iffy for my diet. If somebody who's a staunch, hardcore, whole food, plant based, SOS free, they might not be a big fan of that. I don't know, but um, the I ate a lot. I felt like I was just constantly eating. Yesterday, especially being at home all day, and then I get to work this morning, get on the scale, and I'm not mad. All of the kind of in my head, I was kind of, as I'm eating it, I'm even kind of kicking myself. Why am I eating it? I don't need to have that. I had a bowl of shredded wheat. That's what it was. Like I don't need the bowl of shredded wheat, but I want the bowl of shredded wheat, I guess, is kind of where I was at. Um, but maybe I did need it because, like I said, I didn't come in any heavier than I expected to come in today. Kind of how things normally work for me throughout the week. So, um, I was, in hindsight, I'm happy about the weekend. In the moment, I was probably too hard on myself. And I didn't need to be. So, don't be too hard on yourselves. If you're staying on diet, like if you're, especially this diet, the craziest, weirdest thing, is that there's no volume restriction with this diet, because if I eat more lettuce or more spinach or more kale, it's not like I'm getting a ton of calories. And the food is it's just so different this time, dieting this way and eating this way and trying to figure out how to it's just a totally different mentality when it comes to food and it comes to nutrition that in the past, I never understood. Like, and I think I could even like sit here and like as I explain it to people, if you're not eating a whole food plant-based diet, you don't understand the difference. Because I mean, the big thing is once you get rid of that oil from your diet, that is a huge amount of calories. Like, even if you just did whole food, plant based, no oil, which is extremely popular, there's probably more cookbooks on that way of eating than I could even count or get through in a lifetime. If you really want to look into the whole food, plant based, no oil. Um, but the number of calories that oil, like just having oil in the pan adds calories to these foods. People, they talk about counting calories, and they're big on counting calories. And one of the things that happens a lot of times when people count these calories is that they do not count the oil that they're cooking the food in. And, because it doesn't seem like it's a tangible amount of calorie. It doesn't seem tangible because it's just, if you sauteed onions and mushrooms in oil, you wouldn't think about the fact of all of the calories that's in the oil that you cooked them in is still on that food. It doesn't like evaporate out sort of like water does. And so it's just so easy to kind of overeat calories when you don't think you're overeating calories. And also, again, the nutrition labels. I mean, these companies, they can be off by like, I don't know, it might be even as much as 20%, but they can be off on the nutrition labels. They can say, hey, we have this pita bread here, and per serving, it's 110 calories. By the way, the serving is only half of the tortilla shell that nobody uses half of. So you're actually getting 2 servings every time, which seems odd. Like, why would a serving be anything but one a whole of the thing? Because nobody's eating half of them. But again, the companies, they get to decide the serving sizes they want or how they want to manipulate the serving sizes to their benefit. And so you eat something that you think is 100 calories, and then it's 120 calories. Well, you do that 10 times in a day, and you'll have an extra 200 calories in your diet that you're not accounting for. And so if you are saying my total daily energy expenditure is 1,800 calories, and I'm only eating 1,700 calories, I'm going to lose 100 calories a day. And that is exactly how it should work. Problem is that we're going off of what the manufacturers say the labels are. They could be a little low. We're going off of, we're assuming of servings, and then we're not calculating in that stuff that we're cooking it in sometimes, the calories that come from that. And so you think you're at 1,700 calories when you're actually at 1,900 calories, and you go from losing 100 calories a day to gaining 100 calories a day, and you think you're doing everything right. You got it all figured out. You don't understand why the diet's not working for you. And it's because you're not, you're being tricked, and it's just, it's not anything that we really, you just don't notice it. You think you're doing the right thing, and you go and you're, especially if you're doing like working out and stuff. I know that there was many times where I would work out, and so you take your total daily, let's say that you get 1,900 calories a day is what your daily expenditure is if you sit on the couch all day. This is just assumption. So then you decide, you know what, I'm going to work out today. So I'm going to burn an extra 400 calories. So you go and you do your workout, and inevitably what happens is, or not inevitably, but you rely on a watch that tells you how many calories you burned. You rely on some device that telling you. There's no exact science to it. I mean, my watch, sometimes I'm driving down the road and my watch beeps telling me I hit one of my walking metrics for the day. Or a lot of times when I'm driving, my watch will tell me I've done I've hit my goal for the number of steps I need to do in a day. Or not steps, the number of flights of steps that I go up in a day. And I'm in my truck. I'm driving my truck. How is it registering that I'm going up a flight of steps right now? I don't know. It's just what the watch says. So uh you take your watch or your device's word for it, and it says you burned 500 calories when you actually burned 400 calories, because it's not an exact science. You don't have anything on you measuring the exact number of calories you burn. So then, on top of eating more calories by because the servings were off or there was extra oil on it, you're assuming you did more workout than you did. So then you really screw it up because you're like, I worked out 500 calories, so I can have another 500 calories when you actually worked out 400 calories. So now you're in a 200 calorie kind of overeating in a day. And it's all kind of stuff, like you thought you were doing the right thing, and your body takes those calories, especially the refined sugars and any the processed food. Your body just absorbs the crap out of it, and that's really the thing that is. So I'm not a big fan of like worrying about calories in, calories out. It's on this diet. I don't think you have to worry about calories in, calories out, because it's a different way of eating. And for me, what I don't see anybody talk about, and I don't know that maybe there is somebody out there talking about it, but as as important, or like all these people are talking about calories in, calories out. What I think is far more important is the calories absorbed by your body versus the calories out. Because when I eat a loaf of bread, a loaf of white bread, if I went and bought a loaf of Wonder Bread, I don't even know if Wonder Bread exists anymore, but if I bought a loaf of bread and I ate that loaf of white bread, my body is going to absorb every calorie that it can possibly absorb from that white bread. And it's going to do something with it, whether or not it stores it as fat, uses it as energy. It's going to, it has the ability to process that very easily. And so when you read a label and it says this bread has 110 calories per slice, then your body's probably going to absorb 100 to 110 calories per slice. But if I take a can of beans or some corn, by weight, everybody will say, yeah, that's X number of calories. That corn, for a cup of corn, it's 150 calories. I'm just making something up. I'm not sure what it is, but that's probably what corn is calorie wise. But when I eat corn, if I don't chew it up and mash it up with my mouth, there's nothing in my digestive system that tears the skin away from it or gets the coating off of that corn. And so as it passes through my body, it does not get absorbed by my system. And you see the evidence of that in the toilet at the end of the day, is that you ate that corn, but it came out the same way it went in. So that means that your body, even though that was a calorie in, if you counting calories in, that's a calorie in, it was also a calorie out that you're not calculating. And a whole food plant-based diet has so many of those things. The beans, the corn, are just items that have the skin on them that um even rice and oatmeal is the same way. Like that fiber that's in there has to get ripped apart to get the nutrients out. And you do that by chewing with your teeth, and then you have stuff in your gut that helps break it down, but it's not going to. If you eat a bean whole, that bean's going to come out whole because there's nothing in your gut that tears apart the skin on the outside of the bean. But if you chew that bean up and then eat it, then the skin may come out, but the the rest of it gets absorbed. And the way the absorption work is, I didn't I guess I don't know that I understood this before, but essentially your stomach, your digestive tract absorbs the food that is touching the walls of your your small intestine and your large intestine. And so the food that's in the middle isn't getting absorbed until it kind of gets, as it passes through, it probably ends up touching the sides. But these beans and things like that, that if you don't sit there and chew them up really good, your body doesn't actually do any absorbing. And so if you're if you eat beans whole, you'll absorb, let's say, 70% of the calories. But if you blend those beans or turning them into like a refried bean, then you'll absorb 90% of those calories that you eat. And I don't think that people talk about that enough, because they just say calories in, calories out. And that's, again, that works. But what ends up happening is you have to restrict your volume so much, because when you're eating processed foods, if you're eating processed foods and you're worried about calories in, calorie out, then you are you can kind of figure out and probably work the equation, but you're not going to be satisfied with the amount of food that you get to eat each day, because it's not a lot of food once you start processing this stuff. But if you eat the foods that are low calorie and unprocessed, then your body has to work a little bit harder to digest those foods, and it's not going to over digest the food, because those calories that you get from that white bread are easy calories, or the calories you get from like a cinnamon toast crunch, those are easy calories for your body to absorb, and they don't take up a very, very much volume. So it's really been a transition mentally to figure out, like, I ate a crap load of food this weekend by volume, but I didn't absorb all of those calories that I ate. I know I didn't, because the scales tells me that I didn't gain the weight from it, and it's not being held on to or stored, and so it's just it's just something that I wouldn't have even considered before. I always had heard calories in, calories out, and I really, it's not that that's not true, but I don't think people are talking about it in the right way. I think that they should be talking about calories absorbed versus calories out. Calories your body actually takes in versus the calories out. And I am absolutely been working at a deficit from the last 4 weeks with that, because I'm not doing any extra working out. I'm not going and doing running or even walking, really. I'm just living my life, going to work and raising the kids, and uh I don't want to, I'm so happy I don't have to sit here and count calories and macros and all this other stuff, because uh there's a universe where that is happening right now for me. Like, when I started this channel, I had no intention to eat a plant-based diet. I didn't have my brother has been vegan for a year before I started this, and he brought it up when I started this, that I should that kind of diet, and I was like, shut up. Yeah, right. Maybe I'll cut back on the meat, but I'm not gonna cut meat out. That's you're crazy. Um, and fast forward 16 months, and I'm sitting here 200 pounds lighter, and realizing that, you know, if it wasn't the meat that was hurting me, the processing of it was really hurting me, and the biggest part of my diet, I honestly, I talk about this a lot, but it's that salt, oil, sugar free. I I would say that if you wanted to eat animal products and didn't want to add salt, oil, sugar, go for it. If you want to eat steak with no seasoning, or you put seasoning, you put garlic on it, some thyme, rosemary, you can season it, but don't put any salt on it. Don't put any sugar. Don't put barbecue sauce with it. I don't think people would eat it as much, And really, once you get rid of salt, oil, sugar, that eliminates all of the dairy industry, because you can't get any dairy without salt in it. So, um, that wouldn't be something you could eat. But anyways, it's just kind of a weird to think about how much different my diet is than what I anticipated my diet being, and how satisfied as I am. I mean, the again, the I don't know if I want to get into that. I've already gone for 35 minutes. Holy cow. You got I had low expectations for the scale this morning. I thought the scale was going to be um going to tell me I gained 4 pounds, and it didn't. I'm lighter now. like I wasn't lighter this morning, but I'm lighter now than I was last week. So that is something that I did not anticipate happening, but and I beat myself up over it. But that feeling I have now, Monday, so I thought that I was going to be at this weight and I'm at this weight. And that joy I got from being this weight has been huge. Uh, okay. So Carrie says the old standby is mega veggie chili. What was this dinner then? Because what did we have Friday night? You weren't here on the stream when I showed this, so I'm gonna pop this up again. What was the chili we had Friday night? Was this mega veggie chili too? This had like the green lentils in it. This is Friday night's dinner. Is that do we have mega veggie chili Friday? It doesn't look like it. I feel like it's missing stuff. But anyways, I don't remember. I just took a photo. I just take photos of what we eat. I don't remember what we eat. So that's why I take photos of everything. I should put that on the Instagram. I advertise, or I don't advertise, but I post my Instagram account here. So if you haven't followed me on Instagram, you can check that out. It's at Fasting. That's FAHSTING. What's funny is I don't know that that's very big. I don't really. You can make it a little bigger. At Fasting, you can check that out. I don't know. I feel weird posting photos of things on. Carrie says that is not mega veggie chili. I didn't think it was. I thought you said when we were eating it, you were looking for a recipe to use those green lentils with. But the Instagram, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like, I don't know what people want to see more of. If there's anything you guys would want to see photos of, let me know. I've thought about either posting these photos of the food that we eat on Instagram, or what I probably, so Carrie says that was called taco soup that we had. Let me see if I still have this. This was, this was taco soup, what this was. On Instagram, yeah, if there's something you guys wanted me to post more of, like the food that we're eating and things like that, let me know. The other one, the other thing I thought about posting to kind of keep myself accountable is that when I come to work in the morning, getting on the scale and posting a photo from the scale each day. And let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in seeing too. Because again, it's weird. Like I don't really have a following on Instagram, so I don't know what way to take it or what direction to take it. But that was one of the things I thought about, because I really believe that, the scale can be detrimental mentally sometimes, but if your goal is to lose weight, if that's what you want to do, if that's like the focus that you are making for your diet or your time, then getting on the scale daily is going to provide you with the best opportunity to succeed, because you're daily kind of auditing what you did the day before, and you can make your decisions throughout the next 24 hours based on what the scale was this morning. Now, you might have gained weight this morning because of something you ate 2 days ago, but at least you can catch that and make that correction. The thing that I ran into over that 6-month period where I was kind of on this plateau that I'm busting through right now is that I avoided the scales, especially when I knew it was going to be disappointing. Like when I knew that I wasn't going to be down, or I wasn't at the weight I wanted to be, I avoided the scale. And that's really, I had that injury that I tore my distal bicep tendon. So I had surgery that really is going to mess up any type of routine anybody has. And, had I continued to make, because for that period of time, from the time I tore my distal bicep tendon till 2 months later or 3 months later, I would have loved to have lost weight, but that's not where my mental focus was, like it is now, like it was prior to that. My mental focus at the time was dealing with the fact that I was down an arm and trying to do my job and raise my kids and get things done around the house at the same time, and so I didn't focus on my weight loss as much during that period of time. But now that I am focusing on it again, it feels nice. Uh, um, I'm gonna get out of here. I don't really even know where I was going with that now that I'm here. But oh, I was talking about, yeah, just let me know if you want, if you'd be interested in me posting daily scale photos on Instagram or posting the food that I eat on Instagram. Let me know, because I don't do the Instagram thing like in my social life, like outside of this. I have a Facebook account that I look at occasionally. And so I don't know if that bugs people. If I were to sit here and take 5 photos in a day and post them on Instagram, I don't even know how that works. So let me know. Give me any suggestions you guys have. Like I said, I'm gonna get out of here today. I do appreciate all of the support from everybody. I'm so excited about this week's weigh-in. I'm really, gosh, I just need to get under 300 pounds. I'll be so happy when I get under 300 pounds, 15.2 pounds away. Carrie says that if I want to post photos on Instagram, that she'd have to make our food look prettier. Yeah, well, it's not pretty, so it doesn't have to be. As long as it causes me to lose weight, I don't care how it looks, right? I mean, that's something that we deal with our children a lot, is that if the food doesn't look very good, then they don't necessarily give it a shot. They judge that book by its cover. But yeah, I'm out of here, guys. I appreciate all of the support. Make sure that you click like button on here, comment down below. I don't even care what you comment. Just say hi. It helps the algorithms. Subscribe to the channel, click on the bell icon, do all those fun things. If you haven't started your diet yet, what the heck are you waiting for, right? You're 42 minutes into listening to this idiot talk. You need to start your diet right now. Nobody ever gets to their goals and says, man, I should have waited a week. I should have just waited. I started too soon. Nobody ever says they started too soon. Everybody says they wish they would have started sooner, including me. I say it all the time. If I would have made the decision to start losing weight the day I saw that I was over 500 pounds for the first time, I would be 6 months further along, and I would be 6 months lighter than I am right now. So get started right now. Don't fall for the myth of the two myths of moderation, the myth of moderate consumption. It's great to think that, yeah, I can just cut back. I'll just decrease my portion sizes so I can eat all those foods I love. Those foods you love are a trap. They are tricking you. That's why you're still holding on to them and you love them so much, but they're so chocked full of sugar and salt, oil, just to get you to buy more and eat more. They don't want you to eat less. I bet you can't just eat one. The other is, don't fall for the myth of moderate change. Some people can do it, maybe. I've never done any big changes in my life moderately. And if you're gonna make the big change anyway, if your goal is to be a complete convert to whatever your diet you decide, why dip your toe in? Jump in, figure it out as you go, and don't hold yourself back, because as long as you are still letting those foods into your diet that aren't healthy, they're going to keep pulling you back. They're going to, you just have to get rid of them completely. So thanks, guys. I will see you tomorrow. And I'm pretty excited. We're at day 492. I'm almost to day 500. So anyways, you guys have a great evening. And